So it's still snowing outside, but I have been buying seeds. Like not a little bit of seeds, but like a lot of seeds. So I just wanted to go through my Baker Creek, or mostly Baker Creek seeds that I have bought and things that I am planning to grow in my garden this year. Maybe you guys will find something you want to grow as well. We shall see. I bought a lot. If you're new around here, then hi, I'm Kiri, and on this channel we talk about all things micro homesteading, from growing indoors hydroponically to growing outdoors in the garden, and other ways you can become more self-sufficient and less reliant on the grocery store. And I just have to say, I'm in love with my new hat, and I couldn't decide whether I should wear this for the video or my new toque, given that it's winter. But I'm inside, so I opted for the hat. If anyone's interested, link down below. But that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about the absolute ton of seeds that I bought, and we'll go through them right now. I don't even have these categorized because there's just so many of them. When I counted, there was like 80 packages. I know I don't have a lot of space. I live in the burbs. I have currently 2 12x4 raised beds. I am putting in a third one this year. I'm also putting in a metal raised bed. I can't remember the dimensions on that one, but it's like 30-ish square feet. And I picked up 3 of the green stock planters because they're finally shipping to Canada. And I have the raised bed in the front. And I also have a couple of small raised beds down the side of the house. But my friends, that is not enough room for the amount of seeds I already had, let alone the 80-plus-ish packages I just bought. And I still have a few in my cart with Baker Creek, but I haven't ordered those yet. We'll see whether that actually happens. Now that I've got a massive pile of seeds in front of me, let's go through them in no particular order. So I picked up these eggplants. I'm not a huge eggplant fan, but these are the Thai lavender frog egg, and they're tiny. I thought that they might be good for growing hydroponically, and they're just tiny. Honestly, with the eggplants, it's the seeds that freak me out. Why? I don't know. It's completely irrational, but I am wanting to learn to love them, so we're going to try the tiny ones and see if that helps. Next, I have some buckwheat. This one I just thought was gorgeous, and it is supposed to be good for pollinators, and it's a pseudo grain, and it is used to make soba noodles, and I love soba noodles. I think they're very hard to make at home, but maybe we'll try. So if I can grow something pretty that brings in the pollinators and then cook something from it, that's a win for me. Next, we have the Pandora poppy. I had never really gotten into poppies. It's more of a recent thing. I actually just started some of these outdoors with winter sowing. I'll put a link up to the video above where I did that. It's my first time winter sowing, complete noob here, but we're trying new things this year. Then I have another new one, Narangilla. Never grown this before. It's a unique Andean fruit. Andean? It's from the Andes. And it is supposed to make a delicious sweet tart juice. I am not planning to grow this outdoors because it will not survive here in the winter. I was basically going to start it indoors in a pot, grow it in my grow room, and then see where we end up. I don't think it's supposed to be very big. I should probably do some more research on that. Maybe I can dwarf it in the pot if it's bigger. I finally got the Kajari melons. I learned about these probably like most people from Jess at Roots and Refuge Farm. I could never get them. They were always sold out, and I got a few in a trade, but they grew a little strange, so I don't know if the seeds were saved properly. So I managed to get a few legit ones this time. I am very excited. That said, the ones I got in the trade did taste delicious, and they grew very well on my arched cattle panel trellises. I'll put the link up above to the video where we installed those. Next, I don't even know if I'm going to like these. I mean, they're called bitter melon, but they are the Okinawa Pure White. And Okinawa is one of the blue zones where everybody seems to live for a very long time. And I am trying to get healthier and eat better things. And from the pictures I had seen, they also look like a white iridescent, which I thought, I mean, they're pretty. So I'm going to grow them and see if I like them or not. because you gotta try new seeds. This one, the Kiss Me Over the Garden Gate. I just thought this one again was pretty to bring in pollinators, not putting that in as an edible plant. It's just there for beauty and to bring in more pollinators. I picked up some of the plantain. This is a purple perversion plantain. Plantain, it's probably growing in my front lawn, full disclosure. But I thought that it would be fun to try some different versions, and it is supposed to be very good for bug bites and stings. So I'm going to try and use this to make some salves. I'm putting in a whole medicinal herb garden, so the metal bed, a big portion of that, or potentially all of it, is going to be for medicinal herbs. This one will make its way into there. Also have some black goji berries. They are supposed to be a powerful medicinal and health food, and they are supposed to be also sweeter and more potent than the red ones, according to the back of the package. And they are high in antioxidants and boost the immune system and improve circulation. Another poppy I picked up, the Falling in Love poppy, to add some beauty into the garden. I also have the chamomile German. Now this stuff will take over. My sister planted some. It was everywhere. So I'm going to be very careful in how I plant this. But again, for the medicinal herbs, I want to harvest the flowers, dry them out, use them in salves, maybe use some to make tea. So we're going to be very careful and try and stay on top of the flower heads so they don't seed everywhere. I may look back on this as a terrible decision in the future, but for now I'm hopeful. I do love growing squash. So this was a new one. It's a summer or winter squash from Argentina. It is called also the avocado squash because there's a low moisture content and it has therefore a creamy consistency. So we will definitely be giving this one a try. Just so I keep everything straight, I'm gonna put the ones I've already shown you guys back in the envelope. I'll put that over there. I actually completely screwed up last year and I didn't plant a single carrot. I missed doing it in the spring, and then I was going to do it in the fall. And I may not have planned everything quite as well as I should have, and there was never a good spot to put them in. And I ended up with no carrots, and that is not happening this year. So those will be making it into the garden. I also picked up some sunflowers. These are the chocolate cherries. These things are so pretty. So I did grow some massive gray mammoth striped sunflowers last year, but I wanted to add in some more colorful ones. I said I would not grow corn again. And then I saw this one. It's freaking blue. So we're going to try this one and use it to make some cornmeal. I also was planning on getting the strawberry popcorn because I like to say one thing and then do another. So this may be the last year that I grow corn, but we are going to try again. So I picked up some more onions. This one is the Australian brown. It is actually time for me to start. After I'm done shooting this video, I'm gonna go downstairs and start my onion seeds and my leeks and some shallots. So that is on the to-do list for today. For the medicinal herb garden, we also have some gorgeous green twister echinacea. This is supposed to help bring in the butterflies and the bees, so I cannot wait to get this one started, and then we will use it to make some tinctures and all sorts of other fun things. Another onion, port red globe onion. Can't get enough onions. It's something that I use constantly because I cook a lot from scratch and I just don't want to have to buy it. So if I can grow them and have a lot more variety growing from seed, because there's 3 different ways you can grow onions. So you can grow them from seeds, you can grow them from starts, and you can grow them from sets. So seeds is going to give you the biggest variety because you can just get whatever. Now, onion seeds do not last a long time, so you're going to want to use them up quite quickly. Starts are going to give you a little bit more variety. It's going to depend on what your nursery has in stock, and you'll get a lot that way. And then the final way that is probably the most set it and forget it is using sets. So sets are pretty much little tiny onions that are in their second year. So they've been picked when they were very tiny and then set aside, and you take those and you plant them. You're typically going to get smaller bulbs from sets. Given all of that, I prefer to start with seeds so I have the most variety, but you do need to start them very early and they can be a little temperamental. Expanding my herb collection, we are going to try growing some cumin. I grew a bunch of paprika peppers last year and I made my own paprika powder. I'll put a link up to that video above in case you are interested. I ended up ordering and then getting as a free seed these beet alpha cucumbers. So we'll see how those do. Got a lot of them now. My other free seed, I also got the blue spice basil, which I actually did not have. I have, I think, 10 varieties of basil, but not this one, so now I have 11. So I picked up the orange yellow thyme. That will go into my herb garden. I'll probably end up growing this one hydroponically as well in the rise garden. I got the Sugar Baby bush watermelon. I have grown the Sugar Baby before, but this one, because it has a bush habit, I thought it might be good to kind of get it in a pot or keep it a little bit more contained, given that I don't have a lot of space. What else do we have here? I have some feverfew that's going to go in the medicinal herb garden. It is a medicinal plant that has been traditionally used to treat headaches. I also picked up some stevia, use that to make a tincture, trying to have a little bit less sugar. So I thought I would give this one a try because I can't remember, it's like maybe 100 times sweeter, maybe 300. I don't know. It's way sweeter than sugar. A little bit goes a long way. Also picked up some of the Kyoto red carrots. These are supposed to be very sweet and they are not for spring planting. These ones have to be started in the summer so that they would be ready in the fall and winter. I picked up the Lillian's Caseload garden peas from a Mennonite farmer called Lillian. She apparently really liked these peas and saved them, and so now they have taken on her name because we don't know what the original ones were called. I'm also going to try growing some Claytonia. I'm probably going to put this one into the green stock. It's miner's lettuce. You may, depending where you live, it could be growing wild, but it's supposed to have a lot of vitamin C in it. And again, I just want to try new things and bring a lot more variety into my diet. That's the plan. Hopefully I'm going to like some of these new things, because otherwise that would suck. Lots of peppers I've picked up. So we have the Kalugaritsa pepper. It's a Macedonian pepper. It says it's hot, but it's supposed to be around the same heat as a jalapeno. So again, some more color for the garden. All my peppers will be going out in the front bed. I found that they did really well there. Amaranth, or I believe it's also called Kalu. And this is the Love Lies Bleeding Red Amaranth. This is just pretty. Again, you can use the seeds. Another red onion, we have the Wethersfield Red Old England variety, and it is a long day onion. There's 3 types of onions: short day, intermediate day, and long day. Long day does better for me because I am in the north. I do have some other ones that are intermediate, and I have 1 or 2 short days because I just wanted to try, but it's best to get onions that are suited to your region. And you can just Google that to see which ones are going to be best. I got the Irizu Japanese winged bean. These things looked really crazy and I just wanted to try them. No other reason, they looked cool. This one's a cool one. So the toothache plant, this is the yellow version. There is a bullseye version as well, which has a brown circle in them. And this will apparently make your mouth go numb and was used to treat toothaches. There's a fun oddity for the garden. More onions, the yellow of Parma onion, another long day type. It is a rare Italian variety that and this one is also a very good keeper. I want to make sure that I have keeper types, so I will use those and braid them and store them, and then the ones that don't keep as well will be the ones that we'll be using fresh out of the garden. Also picked up some honey nut squash. It's like a mini version of the butternut squash. I'm going to grow this one vertically on my cattle panel trellises, and I'm sure I could probably have heavier things hanging from there, but considering I'm walking under it, my luck, it would fall off and conk me in the head. So we're going to keep it tiny up there. I got these Sart Ruloise tomatoes. They were gorgeous looking, and I am a sucker for a pretty tomato. I'm a sucker for any tomato, let's be honest. So I'm very happy to add these to my garden this year. The problem is going to be figuring out which tomatoes I can actually grow in the space that I have. So we're gonna have to make some hard cuts, which I already did with the peppers because I planned out that whole garden. Also picked up the black strawberry tomato. These were the ones, I believe, that made it onto the cover of the Baker Creek whole catalog. I will put a link up above to where I went through all of that and picked out some of the seeds that I have right here. So many seeds. Another tomato, Amish paste. This one's a classic, yet I have never grown it. So we are going to do that this year. This one made the cut. and another tomato. Surprise, surprise. This one was probably one of the ones I was most excited. Well, between the Sartre Eloise and this one. This is the Prairie Fire tomato, and it is supposed to be super sweet. So I really want to try this one in the garden. I'm kind of digging the stripy tomatoes. Last year's favorite was definitely the Lucky Tiger. It's a green tomato with some pretty stripes on it. It was delicious. Oh, look, another tomato. So we have the Buratino. I think it was also called Pinocchio. I can't remember. This one is a Russian heirloom, and it is good for sauce, slicing, and snacking. So I also love a multi-purpose tomato because then you're getting multiple uses out of it. Ha! Another tomato. This is the Pink Fang tomato. This was another good one. It's a meaty, sweet paste tomato. So we're going to be doing the tomatoes that we're going to eat straight out of the garden, and then also having the tomatoes that I'm going to be using for making sauce or salsas. So I like to have a big variety. Plus, I always grow some of the cherry tomatoes because that way you can just snack in the garden. Kellogg's Breakfast. I had heard this was another good one, so of course I had to try it. I don't usually grow a lot of beefsteaks. The most ones that I do are the Brandywines. So we'll try this one out. It's kind of breaking my Brandywine only rule as far as beefsteaks go. I think that's it for those tomatoes. Picked up some moringa. This is a dwarf version. This is a tree. A friend at work was telling me about it. It's supposed to be one of the superfoods. I've seen some other places online selling it as a powdered form. We are going to try. This one again will be in the grow room in a pot, hopefully not reaching the ceiling, but we'll see. Oh my God, there's still so many here on my desk. I also picked up the Thai double blue butterfly pea. This one makes a blue dye. It can be a natural dye. You can also make teas and stuff out of it. And I believe if you put lemon or some sort of acidity in it, it changes the color and goes kind of pinky. So a fun one to give a try. And it looked really pretty. Another free seed, the Japanese wasabi radish. I haven't really grown these before. We'll try those out this year. Actually, got 2 of them as a free seed. Picked up some yarrow. This is the cerise queen. I thought it was really pretty. And another medicinal herb. Pink dandelions. Those things are gorgeous. I'm actually growing one right now in the Rise garden, trying it there. I'm going to harvest the heads and use it for making some. I've heard the dandelion jelly tastes like honey, so I wanted to try and make that. Something you don't see very often, or at least I've never seen before, is a dwarf tamarillo. So we're going to be giving that one a try. It's a South American native, and this is a miniature version of the regular tamarillo. We will see how it goes. I'm gonna have to be inside. I'm really gonna have to figure out where I'm putting all these trees in this grow room because there's not that much room. We'll have to figure that one out. A couple of flowers. So I got the Blushing Susie Black-Eyed Susan vine, again, just to bring in pollinators, and I love the muted colors of it. We have the Red of Florence onion, another long day type, another rare Italian variety. These ones grow like really long, like a torpedo kind of. Got some, never seen these before. It's a Gomphrena. These are the Atomic Purple. Just a flower. Thought it would be really pretty, though apparently you can make a tea out of it as well. So we'll have to check that out. And the blooms are supposed to last for a really, really long time. And I think it also mentioned that they were good for dried arrangements. Really focusing on bringing pollinators to the garden this year, because without pollinators, you're not going to get much food. Going to try cauliflower. I have not done well with cauliflower or broccoli, but we're going to try again. So this one was supposed to be a very adaptable, productive variety from Poland. So we're going to try the Robur cauliflower in the garden this year. I can kind of start to see my desk. Some more asparagus that I'm adding in. This is the Conover Colossal Asparagus. I already have asparagus out there, and it's one of those things that people tend to hesitate planting because it takes like about 3 years before you can harvest it. But the story I always tell is my mom, they ended up living in the house that they bought for 25 years, and she'd never planted it because she wasn't sure if they were going to be there, but they ended up staying for 25 years, and the woman never planted asparagus. Had she planted it, she would have had it for years. So plant your asparagus. Next is the New England Sugar Pie Pumpkin. These little sweet pumpkins for making pies and stuff. I love growing pumpkins. Try those ones out. Probably try them on the trellis. We'll see how they grow vertically. Got the Richmond Green Apple Cucumber. It's gonna give that a try. What else do we have? Oh, the zinnias. These are the Queen Lime Blush. I already planted the Queen Lime Red last year, and I have the Queen Lime Orange and the Queen Lime. I'm just obsessed with them. I had never grown zinnias until last year, and I really like them. The flowers last for a really long time, and they're just really pretty. Next, we have some marshmallow. So that will be going into the herb garden. And this is another one of those medicinal herbs. And apparently the marshmallows that we know today were kind of inspired from this. So what they used to do is they would fry up the roots, and it has kind of a spongy texture, add some sweetness in, and that was the inspiration for our marshmallows that we eat today. Oh, and the marshmallow needs to be cold stratified, so that is actually out right now in the garden for winter sowing. This one was as well the white horehound. This was used for a traditional remedy for coughs. And apparently it was also put on candy. I'm not sure what candy has horehound on it, but some does. If you know, let me know down in the comments below. A couple of peppers. So I got the jigsaw pepper, which has beautiful leaves on it. They're like purple and white with variegation. And if you've been here for more than a hot minute, you know I love variegation. We got some fun seeds coming up dealing with that, bringing my two loves together, but we'll get to those in a minute. So those again are about as hot as a jalapeno. Some chocolate morning glories. I already have a lot of morning glories in my garden, but again, I was just drawn to the muted color on this one. Getting down to the bottom. All right, so I also picked up another pepper. I'm gonna try and say this one. It is the Aji Chachucha, and this is from the Caribbean and Latin America. And it's less hot than jalapeno, has sweet flesh, which apparently has an addictive flavor. So we'll try that. And then also, I got the sweet bonnet. So it's supposed to have kind of the flavors of the Scotch bonnet, but not the heat. I also picked up this salmon colored aster. Never grown asters before. I just like the look of it, so we're going to give that one a try. And then some of my favorites, I have some of the agastache. So I have the raspberry daiquiri, and this is a great one for bringing in hummingbirds. Last year when we were in the garden, my best friend was over. We were sitting in the garden talking to each other, and a hummingbird actually came between us, hovered, kind of looked at her, looked at me, and then flew away. It was such a cool experience. So definitely adding more of these in to do anything I can to bring those little guys back. I also have the Navajo Sunset Agastache, which is gorgeous. And then we have the Apache Sunset Agastache. And I don't even know if I'm saying that right. And then this one, no picture on the front. This was the Fragrant Delight mix of Agastache, and it was a bunch of different colors. That is it for my Baker Creek seeds. But I have one very special one, and then I also have a couple from Victory Seeds. This is my first time really ordering from them, and they have a lot of great varieties. They have a dwarf tomato project. One of my friends shared some seeds from them before, and I really liked them. So I have the Dwarf Elsie Fancy Tomato from them, which has variegated leaves. I had actually heard of the Splash of Cream, which I also picked up as a variegated tomato, and I had to have that one. But when I was on their site looking, they had a bunch of variegated tomatoes. So I'm super excited for those. I also picked up Blues Bling and the Dwarf Pico's Pride. So not only did they have variegated tomatoes, but they had variegated dwarf tomatoes, which is great because it just keeps them a little bit more under control. And if I do want to grow them inside hydroponically, then I can do that as well. And the last tomato I got from them was the Dwarf Walters Fancy, which is another variegated. So a bunch of variegated tomatoes. From them, I also picked up a leek. This is the Corinthian leek, or also called Improved Swiss Giant. And the last one that I got from them was the Galette de Cygne, which is a warty pumpkin. It's supposed to taste really delicious as well. But I've heard that if you kind of carve into it gently when it's tiny, the warts will actually grow around it, which is just super fun, especially if you have kids. They can put their names on it. Maybe it'll make them eat pumpkins. The last one that I have is the Giant Crimson from M.I. Gardner. So if you haven't seen this story, you need to go and watch it. Luke from M.I. Gardner got these seeds in a shadow box from a seed company that had gone out of business, and the seeds were 85 or 87 years old, and the Giant Crimson was one of the packages that was in there, and it was actually an extinct variety. It wasn't around anymore, and he was able to take them out of the shadow box, get them to actually germinate, and he was able to bring back this variety. So I think he was able to grow 2, and only one of them actually survived, and that's where all these seeds came from. So really excited to get my hands on some of those. That's it, guys. That is all the seeds I've bought, unless I go out and buy some more. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and we'll have some fun planting them in the garden this year. So until next time, don't forget to enjoy the little things and go out there and make food grow. Bye, guys.